think we're live. Hope. So make sure you can see what we're doing. There, so you can see there today. Boom. Okay guys, welcome back to Roberts & Co. Welcome back to London. Another live jewellery making session. What are we doing today? We are doing some sawing some silver wire into component parts. The last few days I've been annealing this. I'm still annealing this. We're still working on this. It's stopped a new form of quenching silver and gold. It still seems to be working pretty good. That's the gold. It doesn't look like gold right now, but that's the gold. I've had to coil it up so it fits on the bench block. That needs to go back through the roller mill, so that's an ongoing project. But we need to start a new project, another one. We've got it's always good to have lots. I'm making some of these T-bar pendants. Those are the 2 centimetre ones. All we need to do today is saw some rod into 3 centimetre lengths. Some sterling silver wire there that we've turned into rod that needs to be cut into the bars, and then at a later date we'll need to make some more, possibly in an upcoming live stream we'll make some more rings, which are the ring components. But all I want to do now is saw up some rods. So let's get the YouTube copyright free music going. Looks like we've got some new music. It's going to be weird at times. Right, let's do some sawing. Yeah, seems like YouTube have bought some more weird music. Right, 3 centimetres. What I like to do when I'm sawing wire, I use a pair of side cutters rather than dividers or a scriber. I just nick it with the wire with the side cutters, which one shows me where to cut. But it also provides a little leeway to get the saw blade started in. To stop it skating across the surface of the wire and marking it. As long as you don't go too deep, it's fine. If you go too deep, the mark from the cutters will still be there when you saw through it. So you have to go quite lightly. I'm using an engineer's V-block instead of like a proper jeweller's tube cutter. No idea what size saw blades in here. Probably a 2.0. I've got loads of 2.0s. I've just got some new 8.0s delivered. I ran out. The 8.0s don't last long and they're expensive as well. But this is 3mm wire, so if I sat here and tried to go through all this with a 8.0, we might be here a while. See if we can go, how long we can go without breaking the saw blade. So we've got 3 centimetres of 3mm wire. So one done, the next one. Again, just mark that with the side cutters. Go a little bit over 3 centimetres. Scope for polishing. using a cut too far on the end here. Good thing about these engineer's blocks is it kind of gives you a straight edge. So we're doing this by hand and by eye. Bench blocks can be a little bit wonky, can't they? Where you file and cut on them, and they're straight. They're nice and straight when you get them, but they're not as good. The older they get, the less of a guide they become, because they're got bits worn out of them. Although that one's in pretty good nick, okay. There is a guide, like to what size saw blades you should use on which metal, but it's kind of, well, they say it's a guide, but it's really a minimum requirement. I don't really follow it, but it is a good place to start when you're starting out. And all it is that you need like 2 blades, ideally 3, in contact with the metal, because if you have less than, certainly if you have less than 2 or 3, the blades gets caught, it bottoms out every time, and it will chatter and is more prone to breaking. That's all it is. But once you get kind of experienced, I tend to use blades that are not really that break. I basically break that rule, but because when you're starting out, you'll break, even following that rule, you'll break a load of blades. Once you get experienced at sawing, you can adapt the pressure you're using and kind of limit the amount of shattering the blade does. So I can other things kind of dictate what blade I use rather than the technical specifications and minimal requirements like that 2 or 3 teeth in contact with the metal. So I quite often use it, the thickness, sometimes I use it based on the thickness of the blade. If I want a thick, like I can adapt the size of jump rings. If I'm cutting jump rings, I might want them slightly bigger or slightly smaller. We're talking fractions of a mil, but that's the kind of tolerances you're working with when you're making fine jewellery. So if I want a jump ring slightly smaller, I'll use a bigger saw blade. And if I want, you know, if I've made it the right size in the first place, that's why I like the 8/0s, because you get a really fine cut through things like jump rings. Whereas if I want to, like with this, like I was saying, if I use the 8/0s to do this, we'd have less waste. There's no reason that you couldn't use them, but it's more of a time thing with these. We'd be here forever. So I might use a blade that's I could use a size, you know, like one of the biggest blades we've got, a size 3 or 4, which to start with, because this is a curved surface, it wouldn't necessarily have 2, or even certainly wouldn't have 3 in contact with the surface of the metal. So you have to sort of adjust the pressure to stop it getting caught and breaking. But having said all that, the guides in terms of, like, if you don't know where, the guides are a good place to get you started. I made 6 of these. This is number 5. YouTube's excelled in this music patch, isn't it? What genre is this supposed to be? What genre is it supposed to be? Mariachi madness. Is there like a Mexican day coming up? Or is it just always a holiday in Mexico? We've had a load of Mexican themed songs. Alright, one more. How long is this? I think with this I might make two centimeters instead of. Eventually sawing, so the blade got caught there. Look, you get the hang of, with practice, or you think with practice, you wouldn't break any amount last time. I mean, how long have I been doing it? A long time. You get the hang of the grip. So you're not really gripping it tight enough so that when it catches, you kind of, the saw kind of flies out, gets pulled out of your hand rather than the blade getting pulled out of the frame and breaking. Yeah, I think a mistake that we all make, and all beginners make, is gripping the thing way too tightly. Which one, you get worn out, it kind of, I think actually rather than the muscle memory from breaking blades, it's more the fatigue element. You've got to do a lot of sawing, It's probably from doing a lot of sawing that you learn to loosen your grip, loosen up a little bit and loosen the grip. Because you just get tired of gripping it too tightly. But it also stops you breaking blades when it snags. Looks a bit low. Let's file a bit more. One's a little bit over 2 centimeters. The other one's bang on. I'm going to leave it a little bit over. So it's quite a bit over. It's better than being a bit under. Right, how many did we make? 1, 2, 3, 7. Let's call it a day before we start breaking blades. It was Sunday afternoon sawing. Quick while we have the broken blades, to give you a close up of these. These will be, there's the bars. These will ultimately be, these need polishing. So these will ultimately be turned into T-bars. Once we add some rings, we need to make the upcoming live stream. Right, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Toodles.